you're like, okay, we need to sort of change the direction of Pivot entirely. Walk us through that. What does that look like? What does that feel like? How was that for you?
It's scary. It really is. And, you spend all this time building out something that is your baby essentially, and that you think is, what you want to put out there. But ultimately what I learned, and this is something that I learned through being on the venture side, is that you need to listen to your customers. And, what we realized were a couple of things. We found this niche where people were asking to pay for this, which is very rare. The reality of our consumer app was that we had to get to a certain threshold to then get advertising money. And so a lot of our initial capital was going towards marketing. If we had companies paying for it from day one, that would do a few things. The first thing is that would be, revenue in the door right away. That would mean, less marketing money. That would mean that since the companies were paying for it, that they would also be pushing engagement internally. And it was just, and then the other thing is when we were working with companies, then we could estimate our network effect in each city, because these companies would come on with, 400, 800 people in a city, and we wouldn't have to grow that from scratch. So that was a really, really interesting component. But then, as I said before, we were building a nice to have product for a bunch of different people, with always with the intention that the expat was the one that felt it the most, and the relocated employee. And the more we did research, the more we made the decision to pivot. And ultimately, what I go by, honestly, we're going to pivot several more times. That's just the nature of a startup. And so, really what I look to as my compass is listening to customers, but always, making sure that your mission is in line with why you started it. And that's so important. And so when we were deciding whether or not to take this B2B, it always went back to why we started it, which was we wanted to create a platform where people could take life-changing opportunities in unfamiliar places, like I had it in London working for Bloomberg, and expand their outlooks without thinking twice. And so from our perspective, whether it was done through the consumer or whether we were getting in the hands of these people through their employer, didn't really alter the mission, and was just a different means to, get to the end user.